Hey, what's up? Dillio coming to you live again, and this is representing DillioT2K.com. And in this video, we're going to dive right into my first thoughts about the SSL SiX mixing console. I just saw it on the web, and I saw it on YouTube, and I saw it on Sweetwater. And I thought it was pretty cool that it's a cool console that they're coming out with. And it's like, okay, why would I want something like that? But being that I came from learning on SSL consoles back at Full Sail, I thought it's really cool that they came out with something like this. I always wanted to have a little bit of piece of that action in the studio. So let's talk about the features first, and I'll talk about my personal experiences with the SSL. So obviously it's a 6-channel mixing board. It has, phantom power on the XLR inputs. You got the one knob compression, and all you gotta do is activate that, and it's supposed to do an automatic gain when you add the compression. So you have one knob, so that's different from dealing with regular compression, because typically in regular compression you got the input coming in, then you do the gain reduction, or you set the ratio, and then you set the knee and all that stuff, and then it brings the sound down, and then you have to use the output knob to turn that gain back up. Well, I guess in this board right here, it does it all at the same time, which is pretty cool. Got a high and low EQ on there. I don't know quite the frequencies that they were set for, but I think it's still a pretty cool thing. And then there's a bell button there to change the properties of the high and low frequency EQs on there, which is cool for sound shaping and stuff like that. One thing I really liked about the on this board was the talkback features. You definitely can talk back to different buses on there. There's like a Q1 mix on there and a Q2 mix on there, and I guess you can send those outputs to like your drummer, your musician, or your vocalist and stuff like that. Also, it has 100mm faders, so it has the full length faders and stuff like that. A lot of smaller mixing boards may have like a 50mm fader and stuff like that. I don't know if you might care about that, but I like those things. You have breakouts on the back for inserts, and then from what I understand, through some finagling, you can get up to 12 inputs on this thing by using talkback as an input, returns as an input, stuff like that. So if you feel like doing a lot of that wiring and stuff, you can actually boost the inputs of this thing. And so, SSL is definitely a huge brand, definitely for the high-end studios and stuff like that. I believe Patchwork had one, and back when I was at school and college, we learned on the SSL, and it's one of the most interesting, amazing experiences. First, that this was the real deal, and it's built, it's professional. I know it probably takes a lot of work to maintain those things. Just the power of those things alone are huge. The power supplies are like huge. So SSL, along with Rupert Neve, no joking, and I definitely wanted to have a piece of that in my lab and stuff like that. For the independent, aspiring, and someone who's more on the independent side, having that equipment usually takes a rental to get it into the nice rooms, and a lot of the channel strips are pretty expensive, which brings me to the price point, and it kind of reminds me of Moog, and I'll get to that in a second. So the price point of this board, it's a small one, and it's $1,500. Now, think about that between a Behringer 6-channel and the SSL 6-channel. Yeah, I would suspect that the Behringer 6-channel is maybe like $50, $60, or $70, and the SSL is like $1,500. Someone like me can understand that you're going to hear the difference. You're going to hear the difference. And they're kind of like a Moog. Moog Voyager was like $3,000 or something like that. And then it came out the Sub Fatty. That was like $1,000 when it first came out. It's probably like $600 now. But you definitely hear the difference between that and a plug-in. Plugins are good. But there's an experience about having a really well-built keyboard. I got 2 Moogs, and those things are built like tanks. You feel like you've bought something. It's like a quality to it, even with the microphones. Like I currently use the Audio-Technica 2020, but there's certain air that I can't get compared to when I use the TLM 103, or a Neumann U87, which I want to acquire. I definitely want to acquire one of those. And then one of the things I like to use is a LA610 compressor, which is a big deal. Yeah, maybe might add a compressor or two as plugins inside of my DAW, but using compression on the outside, hardware going in, there's just a whole different thing that brings out a lot more life. Of course, you can always add more and more to it, and you can go down a rabbit hole throwing a lot of money into it, and it's pretty cool. But back on the console, I think it's pretty cool. I'm definitely not for, I don't recommend this for somebody entry level who doesn't understand the concepts of compression. this is definitely not what I would consider a type of board that you would just drag around gig by gig. I think it's built, but it's not something I would want to tear up. I will probably get that and leave it right on my desk. I think it's great for recording hip hop music. I think it's great for recording for R&B because most of the time the tracks are already done inside of the DAW, and then you just take your vocals and you just record them straight in through there, or you use a compressor and dump them in straight through there. And I just like having that return coming back. You can send it. And you can control your mixes from the board too as well, which is cool. So if the artist needs to hear more of the music or more of themselves, you can kind of switch that around. One thing I guess this thing is missing in today's day and age is a USB, but I guess that will probably definitely push the price up past $1,500. And personally, I don't think I would want to see USB on that thing because all the grounding issues, and you might see in one of my videos talking about grounding, dealing with digital computers at this level where you're inside of where you just don't have all that pretty audio conditioned electricity that you would have in a professional studio. So therefore, I think it's a good thing that it doesn't have USB because, you know, just picture a SSL little mixing board going bzzz, as soon as you plug it into a computer. It's just not a good look. So while I can see it would be very convenient to have that, and probably entry-level audio effects or interfaces would color the sound, I just don't think it's a good look for SSL considering the company that it is. Now, a lot of songs we hear today are recorded on them. I can't quote you any right now, but I'm quite sure if you just did a Google search, you would find out a lot of big hits that we all know and love were recorded on SSL. I think even Dr. Dre worked on one, and he spent time working on it. Because see, the thing is, it's like the SSL, it's a complicated board, and you're not going to learn it in like a day when you've never encountered anything like that. You have to really be able to, you have to live with that board, like seriously, because just the matrix alone at the top and the gain structuring and the gate on it and the compressor on it, and you go down and down, and then mix A and then mix B, which is a playback from the tape coming from mix A, you know, and the automation you record into that, and the old school computer in that, and those things are still chumming along, you know. I just get really excited about that because I know that big records have been done on that. I definitely appreciate it. It is expensive. But I am a high-end gearaholic. If I can't buy it, I at least like to look at it. And, you know, so I think it's pretty cool. So, yeah, those are my first thoughts about that. I just wanted to start a conversation in the comments below about this. Would you buy something like this if you could, or do you think it's a waste of money? Me personally, I think it's a great piece of gear. I definitely can hear the difference with my Moog versus my Korg Minilog. Nothing against Korg and the Minilog thing, but my Moog is that thing is so nasty on the sounds. But each sound has their own thing, so I definitely can appreciate it. You know, if I was able to get it, I would get it. I wouldn't even hesitate because I think it's a fun piece. It's a collector's item, and it probably will resell well. I think so. I think SSL products, their channel strips, they hold their value pretty well. So with that being said, if you like this kind of content and you like this kind of topic, let me know in the comments below. Make sure you check out DillioT2K.com. I have courses on sound design there for Native Instruments Massive, and also some presets on sale there as well. All right, thank you guys so much, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace out, and I'm gone.